Hello everyone and welcome to another art lesson with me, Mr. Richardson. This activity is for my grade 4 students and today you're going to be learning about Fauvism. Now you're probably thinking, what on earth is Fauvism? It is a style of painting that occurred in the early 1900s. A lot of non-natural use of colour. So for example, if you think of a picture of a field with a bright blue sky, not in this style of artwork. It usually features things like portraits, or it can be animals or landscapes, but lots of heavy, vivid colours all put together. So if you're thinking like blues right next to yellows, right next to reds, next to green, then you're getting a bit of an idea of what Fauvism is all about. So we are going to be using Fauvism style art with our digital devices today. So all you are going to need is your iPad. Make sure that you've got Seesaw installed, I'm sure you do, and your finger. Grab your iPad and let's get started. Okay, first thing you want to do is you need to click on respond to this activity, and you will be clicking on the pencil, which is drawing, and that will enable you to then do whatever you want in response. The first step you're going to do is you're going to select the highlighter function down the middle, which is the thickest pen tool you can use in this app. It'll give you nice wide strokes, and you can start with any colour you wish. So you can use the slider on the right hand side. So I'm using yellow to do wide sweeping strokes across the page. Now if you lift your finger and tap on the screen again and colour over the top again, it's going to intensify the colour even more. The more you lift and then tap again, it's going to make the colour darker. So you can see here with the blue, it's quite light, and then I lift my finger and go again, and it's going to make it darker. So you'll keep overlapping it and it will make the colors darker and darker. So you're going to keep repeating that process over and over, using the slider on the right hand side to change the colors. Remember, you want some contrasting colors side by side. What contrasting means is that they're not similar. So if you look at that color scale on the right hand side, you can see the analogous colors. So analogous colors are usually 2, 3 or 4 colors that are side by side. So for example, pink and red and orange are analogous colors. You don't want that. You want to have contrasting colors. So you pick colors that are kind of opposite each other on the color scale. So for example, I've got my pink next to the green, which is next to the blue. And you're going to keep filling in all over the page. Now you can see on the left hand side that I'm trying to sweep over to the edge of the page, and the option menu is just going to keep bumping back and disappearing out of the way. So don't be too afraid to just push your finger over to the sides and the options will just slide away and disappear. So that applies to the color bar on the right and also the functions down the bottom for all your drawing tools. So just keep pushing your fingers across to the left or to the right or down, and they'll just pop away so you can then fill in every single gap. Now that's important that with this picture you do want to fill in as many of the gaps, the white gaps as possible. You don't want to be really leaving any white gaps at all, because with Fauvism you want to make it as vividly bright and colourful as possible. So you're going to continue and fill in all the gaps. The chunks can be whatever size you want, whatever colours you want. So the size doesn't really matter too much in terms of where you put them, what shape they are. Just randomly slide your finger back and forth, lift the finger, then tap it again to intensify that colour and keep changing it. So you kind of, looks a bit like a patchwork quilt of coloured patches. So almost finished there. Keep going. Try and use a range of colours so you're not just using the same few colours over and over. You could try doing with different shapes, so it doesn't have to be like square shapes. You can maybe do triangles, experiment with different shapes, different shapes with your blocks of color. Doesn't have to be exactly like mine. Remember, it's completely random and it's your artwork. So almost finished. Got the last color here. Go for bright pink, which is my favorite color. And keep intensifying that shade there. And make sure that you've filled in every single gap of white. The next step is you're going to select the camera function on the left-hand side, and that's going to give you three options. You're going to select photo. Make sure you've switched to the front-facing camera on your iPad so it's pointing in selfie mode towards your face. You can see me talking there. You want to center your face right in the middle, so you don't want to move it so it's off-center or cut off like it was showing. You need to have it in the middle. It fits your whole head. And you're going to be looking straight at the camera dot at the edge of the screen. Try and position your head. Try and pull an expression if you want to. You can smile, or you can pull a funny face like me. And then it's going to put the photo into my slide. Now, you can see on the corners that there are the toggles there. You're going to drag the picture to the corner and then click on that little round toggle on the corner and drag it out to make that picture bigger so it fits the whole slide. And that way your portrait's going to be a good shape. So make sure you've done that, drag it out. And then you're going to change the settings down the bottom to the pencil icon, which is the second one, and change the color to black. So it's nice and dark. Of course, you can try and do it with a white, but you want a neutral tone or shade. So stick with black for the moment, and then you're going to use that thin pen tool to outline everything on your portrait photo. So usually it's a good way to start is around the edge of the head. So you can see I'm drawing around the chin, the cheeks, the forehead, and I'm going to stop at the ear because the ear cuts off that line I can see, and then I'm going to trace around the outside of the ear, and then down the neck, around the bottom of the neck, and then of course you can do around your shoulders as well, and add any of the other details, and do some of the edges of the collar and the sleeves, so you can see the details of whatever you're wearing. And then once you've got that basic outline, you can then go for everything else. So you go round the hair, and then you can add some hairlines. You can see the way my hair sweeps across the top. So you can draw the hairlines in the direction that they're going. They're pretty easy to see, those ones. And then you can go do the sides of the head too, just with short little strokes. Just keep little tap, 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 tap. Or you can try and do dots as well, depending what your hair's like. And then I'll do the inside parts of the ears as well. So look for the dark lines in that. Same with the eyebrows, like the sides of the head, just like short little strokes. So you can just do like small little zigzaggy lines to fill it in a bit more. Do the other eyebrow as well. And then with the eyes, you can see the top of the eyelids where the sockets are. You can also see the eyebrow, the forehead, that I've got the crinkles there because I'm raising my eyebrows up, so it's made the crinkles there. So you can see I'm doing the top of the eyelids now. And then I go for around the shape of the eyelids. I've done one, and then the nose bridge kind of cuts off the other eye as well. So I'm going to do around the top of the nose, the outside of the nose, and the nostrils. And then I'll go for the other eye there. And you can see that I've kind of done it a little bit too small. It's very tricky to do the eyes and the coloured iris and the pupils there. So you might need to have a few goes at trying that. And now don't forget, at the top there is the undo button. So it's really handy to press the undo button like I've just done now. Keep tapping it to undo the last step. So every time you lift your finger, that's one step. So I'm going to keep pressing it. I'm going to undo all of those bits with the eyes because I wasn't quite happy with that. I want to open up the other eye a little bit more, have another try, and draw it a little bit wider. And that's much better than what it was. And you can actually see the eye, and it gives me more space to draw the outside of the iris and the pupil. And then, of course, I'm going to move down to the cheekbones and then start with the mouth. I'm going to do around the outside of the lips, top and bottom, and then the inside of the lips too, and that's going to give a good shape for your mouth. And then you can go for things like the tongue, do teeth if you can really see them. There's not really much of my teeth there as such. And then, of course, with mine, I've got my beard, so I'm going to colour my beard in. You don't have to do that, but because that's part of a feature of my face, I am going to do it. So again, similar to the hair, short strokes or small little zigzaggy lines. Don't be afraid to use the undo button. If it doesn't look quite right, have another go. That's what art's all about, is just to keep on trying. Once you have done all of the features of the face that you can see, you are then going to change the hand tool on the bottom left-hand side, and you're going to click and drag the photo slightly out of the way. You can see where the drawing is, and then you're going to shrink that photo just a little bit so you can see the option down the bottom with the 3 dots, and then you're going to click on that and press delete. And hey presto, there is my Fauvism-style portrait with my colours and my portrait lines there. So I basically traced the outlines of my photo, and that is what I left behind. Pretty cool, huh? I absolutely love what I have done there. It's pretty good to do an expression on your face, and it gives more interest with your picture. So here is my Fauvism-style self-portrait that I did in the Seesaw app. So make sure that you take your time with colouring in all of the white gaps on that drawing screen. You will probably have to take a little bit more extra care with when you're drawing and tracing around the photo of all the details, the outside lines around the head, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, all of those bits and pieces. So don't forget there's that undo button there if you need to have another shot at doing some of those details. Can't wait to see what your Fauvism portraits look like. Have fun with that activity, and I'll see you next time.